The AI market is projected to hit $1.8 trillion by 2030, not billion, trillion with a T. To put that in perspective, the entire California gold rush of 1849 generated roughly $2 billion in today's money over 6 full years. That means the AI opportunity is not 10 times bigger, not 100 times bigger. We are talking 900 times bigger than one of the most legendary wealth events in American history. 900 times. Back then, if you wanted your slice of the gold rush, you had to physically pack up your entire life. You left your job, your home, your family, everything familiar. You traveled thousands of miles across dangerous terrain, and then you genuinely hoped, that the ground beneath your feet had something in it worth digging for. Most people couldn't even try. The opportunity was physically locked behind geography, money, and sheer survival risk. But here's what makes this completely different. You don't need to relocate. You don't need to quit your job. You don't need to risk a single dollar of your savings or hold a degree in anything technical. You can sit exactly where you are, open a laptop, and start tapping into one of the biggest economic shifts of our lifetime. The barrier to entry has never been lower. The potential upside has never been higher. And yet, and this is what gets me every single time, when I look at what most people are actually doing with AI right now, it's writing grocery lists. I'm not even joking, my friend. They're asking it what to cook for dinner. They're using it to draft a birthday message for their mom. Look, I get it. When powerful technology arrives, we instinctively reach for the smallest, most comfortable use of it first. That's human nature. But while you're planning your weekend with AI, there are people out there using it to build businesses that make more in a single month than most people earn in a year. So what I'm going to show you today are the 5 cardinal rules that separate the people quietly building generational wealth from everyone else who's still treating AI like a fancy search engine. These are the exact rules that matter right now, while the window is still open. Cardinal rule number 1. Understand the actual game you are in. Here's the mistake almost everyone makes. They look at AI and they think, the game is about AI itself. They think they need to build the next ChatGPT, or become an AI expert, or sell AI services to clients. That is not the game at all. Think back to the internet boom of the 1990s. Who actually got rich? Was it the network engineers who understood the TCP/IP protocols? Was it the people who could explain how packets of data traveled through cables? Absolutely not. And I'm willing to bet you don't even know what those things are, because they didn't matter. The people who got rich were the ones who understood that the internet was not the business. It was the infrastructure. Amazon didn't get rich by being online. They got rich by using the internet to sell books, and then everything else. Google didn't get rich by teaching people how the web worked. They got rich by organizing all the information on it into one place that anyone could use. Think of it like a piece of land. The land alone makes you nothing, but build a mall on it, or an apartment block, or a business, and suddenly that land is generating income every single day. AI is exactly the same. AI is not the business model. AI is the foundation. Your customers don't want AI, they want their problems solved. They want results. AI is just the invisible infrastructure that lets you deliver those results faster, better, and cheaper than anyone doing it the old way. Once you understand that, everything changes. And that brings us to rule number 2. Let go of the "it has to be hard" belief. Most of us were raised with a very specific story about success. You've probably heard it in some form. I worked 18-hour days for 3 years. I slept on my office floor. I sacrificed everything. And yes, I want to make it clear, nothing truly worth having comes without effort. That's real. But there is a massive difference between something being difficult and something being inaccessible. Think about cutting down a tree. You could spend all day hacking at it with a stone, sweating and bleeding and barely making a dent. Or you could grab a chainsaw and be done in 10 minutes. The tree is still gone. You still did the work. But one approach leverages the right tool, and the other one is just suffering for the sake of it. Archimedes said something along the lines of, Give me a lever long enough and a place to stand, and I can move the world. What he meant was, with the right positioning and the right tool, you can do anything. That principle is more true today than it has ever been. The people winning right now aren't grinding harder than you. They are leveraging smarter. And in this new era, effort alone is not what gets rewarded. Leverage is. Which leads perfectly into rule number 3. Use specialized tools, not general ones. Imagine someone puts a beautiful, perfectly seasoned steak in front of you, and instead of a chef's knife, they hand you a butter knife. You can still cut through it, eventually, but it's a mess, it's slow, it's frustrating, and the result is nowhere near as clean as it could be. Now swap that butter knife for a proper chef's knife. One clean slice, no struggle, exactly the result you wanted. Both are technically knives, but only one was designed for the job. Most people open one general AI tool and use it for everything: building a sales funnel, writing a pitch deck, and then in the same tab generating a birthday poem. And then they wonder why the results feel shallow and generic. It's not that AI doesn't work, it's that they're using a butter knife when they need a chef's knife. Specialized tools, tools built for one specific outcome, are where the real leverage lives. The kind of leverage that used to require expensive teams of experts, years of study, and massive budgets. Now it's sitting in a browser tab waiting for you. And that is what bridges us into rule number 4. Move while the window is still open. Every major opportunity looks obvious once it is passed. Every single time. The people who made life-changing returns on Bitcoin in 2010 and 2011 didn't do it because they were geniuses. They did it because they saw the potential when everyone else thought it was internet money for tech nerds. Dropshipping in 2015 looked uncertain and unproven to most people. But the ones who moved made serious money before the ad costs exploded, the competition multiplied, and the window quietly closed. Now, starting a dropshipping business is still possible. I want to make that clear. But the barrier to meaningful returns is dramatically higher. You need significant capital to test products. Ad costs have gone through the roof. You're competing against established brands with massive teams. The most powerful business models of their time always started with friction and uncertainty. That's what made them opportunities in the first place. And that brings us to rule number 5. Stop trading time. Start building products. Let's say you've built a reputation for great work in some area: writing, design, consulting, coaching, whatever it is. Right now, your income is directly tied to your hours. Every new client means more calls, more revisions, more back and forth, more of you being present and available. Think of a baker with an award-winning loaf of bread. Every order means back into the kitchen. Bake, slice, pack, deliver. The bread is great. The demand is real. But scaling it is chaos. Hire more staff, buy more ovens, manage the logistics, and suddenly your business is running you instead of the other way around. Now, what if you took that same recipe, the knowledge, the process, the result, and packaged it into something that people could buy without you being there? Suddenly, the loaf sells while you sleep. It sells while you're on holiday. It sells to 100 people at once without any extra effort from you. That is what digital products with AI now make possible. And this is the 2.0 version of digital products, because AI doesn't just help you build the product faster. It helps you research it, refine it, market it, and scale it. The combination of your knowledge and AI as the infrastructure is the most powerful one-person business model that has ever existed. Now here's the part I need you to really sit with for a moment. We are at one of those rare inflection points, the kind that only come around a few times in a generation. And the thing about these windows, they don't announce themselves loudly. They don't send you a calendar invite. They just open, stay open for a while, and then quietly close while most people were still thinking about whether to walk through. Crypto was like that. The people who moved early in 2010 and 2011 didn't need massive capital. They didn't need technical knowledge. They just needed to recognize that something real was happening and act on it. By the time the mainstream caught up, the life-changing returns were largely gone. The opportunity didn't disappear, it just got diluted. The edge belongs to the early movers. AI is not different from that pattern. But what is different is that for the first time, there are almost no real barriers to entry. You don't need to mine for anything, you don't need capital to get in, you don't need a technical background. The tools are already built. They are sitting in front of you right now, cheaper and more capable than anything we have ever had. But the market hasn't caught up yet. Most people are still in experimentation mode. Most businesses haven't integrated this properly. That gap, right there, is your opportunity. And once everyone catches up, once AI becomes as mainstream and commoditized as email or a smartphone, your advantage disappears. Not because AI stops working, but because when everyone is using the same tools in the same way, the edge belongs to nobody. Early doesn't mean perfect, my friend. It means you moved before everyone else figured out the full potential. So the real question is, are you going to move while the window is still open? Look, I know that at this point you might be thinking, okay, I hear you, but where do I actually start? What do I do first? And that feeling is completely fair. I want you to know it's normal. But here's the truth. You don't need to relocate. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need to risk your savings or have it all figured out before you begin. The people who win in moments like this are never the ones with the perfect plan. They are the ones who started building while everyone else was still asking for directions. Imperfect action beats perfect inaction. That has always been the pattern. It was true in 1849, it was true in 2011, and it is true right now. All you need to do is make the decision to move now. Build something, try something. Use the infrastructure that is right in front of you, because this is your chance to create something that doesn't just make money, it builds leverage. Something that works while you sleep, something that compounds. As always, I'm watching from afar, and I'm rooting for you. And if content like this is useful to you, make sure you subscribe because there's a lot more coming.